Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast, powered by Healthy Steps Nutrition Mentoring. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. But we know that helping our clients become the best and healthiest versions of themselves isn't just about what they eat or going to the gym a few hours a week. We have to look at a holistic approach, addressing nutrition, stress management, mindset, sleep, support system, lifestyle, and of course, exercise. My name is Nicole Coyne, and I'm the founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, home of CrossFit HSN and HSN Mentoring. HSN Mentoring provides a turnkey solution for gym owners to build, launch, and grow nutrition coaching programs. I'm so excited in this podcast to teach you how to take one step at a time to build a successful nutrition program. Today's episode is really fun. It's actually an episode we should have done a long time ago. It is a day in the life of a nutrition coach that is a part of the Healthy Steps Nutrition family. So today I interview Lorraine. She is one of our dietitians at our HQ location. She's also involved with some coach development and the coach evaluation process, which is the last step to becoming a Healthy Steps Nutrition coach. In this podcast, we dive into what we both thought nutrition coaching was before we became dietitians, how this process has evolved at Healthy Steps Nutrition. What is the process for someone to get started with nutrition coaching? What is the nutrition coach doing? What are the behind the scenes things that are going on? Really to give you an idea of how to coach people using the Healthy Steps Nutrition framework. In reality, I do a lot of free calls with gym owners, and in that call, my goal is to help them find a good fit to help support the program. And they need to know what the job looks like as a Healthy Step nutrition coach in order to find a good fit. So my hope is that this podcast helps identify some people that might be a good fit to help support the role, and then you send the podcast to them so that they can understand, hey, is this something that I'd be excited to do? What I will tell you from personal experience, working as a dietitian in the hospital and realizing how broken the healthcare system is, and then being on this other side where you truly are empowering health so people can prevent and reverse chronic disease, it is the most rewarding job ever. And the reason is because you're not only changing that life of the person that you're working with, you're changing the lives of their ecosystem. If I'm working with a mom, it is guaranteed that those habits are going to trickle down to their kids and the spouse, and everyone around is getting healthier together, one step at a time. All right, let's dive into this week's podcast episode. But we're going to get to it right after this message. The Gym Accelerator Summit is just a few weeks away. This is a live event that we host for gym owners and coaches who are all looking to bridge the gap between fitness and health inside of their gyms. You do not have to be an HSN gym owner or coach to join us in Nashville, Tennessee, April 18th to the 20th. I'd love to see you there. Click the link below and buy your ticket today. Lorraine, welcome to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you for having me.
I thought it'd be really fun for us to have a conversation regarding what is a day in the life of a Healthy Steps nutrition coach look like. Now, you work at HSN HQ, so you have some other roles, but I think the goal of this is that someone can listen to this and be like, man, how cool is this job that I can help change lives and prevent and reverse chronic disease in this system that is so broken with healthcare? So I want to just dive in. You are a dietitian first. Well,
Yes.
actually, you were a gym owner for many years. You sold your gym and then you came on board with our team. I want to talk about, like, take yourself back to school. What did you think being a nutrition coach or being a dietitian would look like working with clients in like the private practice side?
Completely opposite of what I'm actually experiencing. Kind of similar to our conversations, right? We thought it was as simple as you sit in front of someone, they tell you what the goals are, and right away you jump in, you give them all the options and send them on their way, and maybe touch base every few weeks. And maybe a meal plan is included in that as well. That's really what I thought private practice and seeing people one-on-one outside of a hospital setting was going to be like. And it's far from that.
Yeah, gosh, I've made every mistake under the sun doing private practice. And I started in private practice in 2006, working at a private practice in college. And, it was never a membership base. And when I finally realized, man, I need to do a membership because the time I'm spending with clients isn't just around in-person visits. It's the between the in-person visits is really when the program started taking off because clients started seeing better results. And then they started sharing those testimonials with people. And then we got way more referrals. But I agree with you 100%. And even, thinking about dietitians and the healthcare system, it's really information and access, right? Like you sit down, you're told exactly what you need to do to manage diabetes, but the missing piece is the accountability and support that people need to make meaningful change in lifestyle interventions. So, that's one of the reasons why our program is the core of it is around the accountability and support with clients. So, I think what is something else that you would say? You mentioned meal plans, and this is a question that I would say coaches think they need to give meal plans to people, and I have my thoughts around it. But I'd love to hear from you first. Why do you think people feel like they have to give someone like, here's your macros or here's your meal plan to follow?
Well, I think it kind of goes in line with, hey, if this worked for that person, it's got to work for me. And we know that individuals are very different from one another. And what's going to work for me might not necessarily work for you. But the idea is if I follow a template, I've got to get results. And we have to customize the approach. It's not a cookie cutter approach. We have to really dig into other things that are going on, lifestyle, support, all of those other things we talk about in the holistic approach in order to create a plan that's super simple and clear for that specific individual and their specific goals.
Could not agree with you more. It has to be customized. It has to be addressing other pillars of health, like support system and lifestyle. I think, no, I've been thinking about this for a long time because so many coaches are like, where's the meal plan? Where's the meal plan? Where's the macros? And I think those types of tools are crutches so that coaches can give someone objective data instead of it being really client centered. And it can't be client centered and super rigid. Both of those aren't going to be in the same sentence. And if you are really keeping a client centered approach and a habit based approach, you're assessing where the client is right now and figuring out what's the next step for them instead of, okay, here, I don't care what you were doing before. You're going to McDonald's every day or going to a buffet every day. Here's the meal plan that I want you to spend 3 hours every Sunday cooking and prepping all of the things. And you've never spent a day in a kitchen before. Like fundamentally, it's not going to work. It's just not. So
It's taking from point A to point Z, and we're missing everything in between.
right. And, I think when you focus on more of a habit-based approach, you keep it client-centered and you realize that your values on accountability and support to help someone one step at a time, you're going to feel way more confident as a coach too.
Mhm. Absolutely. And the most recent research I have read, Nicole, says anywhere between 12 to 15 sessions that you need with a client in order to see some type of progress. 12 to
Mm,
15, right? When you think about what we offer, that's kind of built into it. But other
yeah,
programs, much.
that's interesting. So, like, if you think we require a 12-week commitment at HSN and there's 12 check ins, every single week you have a check in, like, there's your 12. But in reality, if you're meeting with them once a month, then that's 12 months. But in reality, like if you're not addressing the in-between session accountability, you're missing a huge chunk of the support that clients really need to be successful. All right. I love it. I feel like we've nailed it. A lot of misconceptions. And I hope someone can think about this and be like, man, I'm starting to understand a little bit. I'm not just telling someone what to do. I'm really holding their hand and their guide and walking alongside them on their health and wellness journey. Okay. So let's talk about how people find out about you and the nutrition program. You know, one of the things that I'm really passionate about, talking about is empowering coaches and gym owners to understand like you need a personal brand. You need to be known. When people think of you, they need to be able to think of you can help me with my health. You can help me with my nutrition. And if you don't put yourself out there, people aren't going to understand how you can help them. They're not going to get started with you.
Mhm.
So, give me some examples. Now, you've played both roles, gym owner and nutrition coach when you owned your gym. Now you are a dietitian and nutrition coach underneath our umbrella. Talk to me about some of the things that you did when you owned your gym and, what you're doing now, like the role of a coach versus an owner?
Yeah. And so when I was an owner, a lot of things to juggle, right? A big thing for me was networking. So I had a lot of friends who had connections to where, the business breakfasts once a month. We had a lot of people in our group that were lawyers, firefighters, policemen. And anytime there was an opportunity to talk about health, wellness, nutrition, I just asked if I can be a part of it. And it
I
sounds
believe
crazy.
that 100%. You are all in with talking to anyone who will listen to you about health and wellness and nutrition.
Yeah, if they're like, "Hey, we have it, a safety event with trucks. Can I be there?" Yes, I will find a way to talk about health, wellness, and nutrition. So that was my first step, right? Because at that point, what I was doing, money was tight, right? And there was a budget or a very small budget, so I just had to be creative. Now, on the flip side of things, this is what I love about what I'm doing now is there's a lot of work that you do to kind of get the face of the company out there to understand that you have a great team behind you that is able to help all these different people in different ways, whether it's virtual, in person. In addition to that, all the podcasts that you do, all the events that you're a part of, that really helps get our name out there and introduces us to the world online and in person. So you do a lot of that work for us now, and forever grateful for that because you're great at it.
You know, I think you also do a really good job putting yourself out there and sharing videos and sharing, like the other day you were talking about getting Jace in the kitchen, and then you made a follow-up video the next day showing Jace in the kitchen, and which he's your son for those of you who listening who don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm practicing when I'm preaching here, and I want to be able to help you too. And the consistency of that, you show up consistently sharing those tips. And I think that's the responsibility of every nutrition coach, is to be showing up consistently and giving those tips. Now, when I think about owners, when I ask an owner, like, what do you do? Or what does your business do? My hope is that they say, I empower health. We help people with nutrition, fitness, and accountability, but so many gym owners open their gym with the fitness thing, and then they add this nutrition thing, and then they still only talk about the fitness thing. It's like, no, if you want people, you are the face of your brand. And if you want people to understand that you as a company can help people with nutrition and fitness, you need to talk about those things. You don't have to be the expert in those things, but you need to be talking about those things. It's one of the reasons why we require gym owners to go through the training. You need to know what your program is about. And I've done a lot of research on personal branding, but there's an overwhelming majority of people that say they are more likely to buy from a company when the founder has a personal brand. When people think, and a personal brand isn't something like, oh, I'm doing PR and I'm doing all of this stuff. It's your virtual reputation. When people think of you, what do they think of? And
And I think you do a phenomenal job of that.
thank you. I think to take it a step further, when people reach out to me personally, and I will say, even with Healthy Steps Nutrition, it is a bigger, maybe a little bit bigger than a lot of gyms that are running the program in regards to reach. But when people reach out to us to get started, they're reaching out to me personally. They're not reaching out to us through like our brand channel. Okay. So more reason why you need a personal brand. People trust people, not brands. And personal brand. Okay, so that's one piece of this. And the other piece is when someone reaches out, I talk about how amazing our team is so often that they trust them because they trust me. Like, hey, Lorraine's going to help you so much. Here's some things. Like, I don't have someone not sign up for our program because I'm not working with them. That's not the way it works. I don't work with anyone anymore, but I'm so confident that our team can fulfill every need. And there's a place for you, gym owners. And the place is to have you and your company be known as the place that empowers health in your community. Okay, so big picture, how do people find out about you? They need to know that you can help them and what problems you can solve. And if you're only talking about fitness, they only think you can solve the fitness problem. All right, so someone's interested, they send us a DM or they reach out. Our goal is then to book a discovery call. The goal of a discovery call is to get to know them a little bit. Make sure that we have clear expectations. We have a 12-week commitment with our nutrition coaching program. This is what we do. This is what we don't do to ensure it's a good fit for you and it's a good fit for us. I don't want a ton of not good clients. I want a ton of amazing clients that are also going to be the right fit for you, because like we have a team of dietitians and nutrition coaches. I know who you're most passionate about serving. I know who Brittany is. I know who Amanda is. And we're bringing on another nutrition coach now, which is really exciting. I know
Yeah.
who everyone loves to serve. So I want to fill up your client list with the people that you love to serve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that also allows our passion to come through more, right? We already love helping people with, nutrition, but when we're able to really grasp onto our niche, oh, it skyrockets from there. And the fact that you have all the trust and faith in us is just a recipe for success.
So we try to get them on that discovery call as fast as possible. And then we sign them up, and people pay before we book initial consults with you guys. Now, let's take a pause for a second. Discovery calls, if you're unsure about that, we just created a training in HSN Mentoring. So all of the HSN Mentoring clients, go check out this recent training so that you know exactly how to do it and refine the skills. We had a owners only meeting for the HSN Mentoring family, and I realized that some people are doing it, some people aren't. It's not really aligned. So created a training on this to be able to help you guys. Okay, back to our podcast. All right, so someone signs up. Walk me through what happens next with you. So we book them in for the initial consult. I just signed up. I'm in my initial consult. What does that look like?
This is the fun part, right? This is when we really get to meet the person in person and start to build rapport and start to really take a look and get a clear snapshot into where they are, where they want to be. And in addition to that, we're going to gather tons of data, right? So that's the first 30 minutes of the consult, to where we're really talking about their lifestyle, their habits, their routines, their eating patterns. And the reason why we do this is we can take all of that information and fast forward 30 minutes into the consult. Now we understand how to create a clear plan, because we've probably been able to identify a few low-hanging fruits for the client by gathering that data. So that is really, really important in the first 30 minutes of the consult.
I will say one of the things that I missed the boat on for the first few years with Healthy Steps Nutrition is I didn't address sleep, stress management, support system, daily movement as much as it's a part of the consult now. Like, it's questions that you're asking. Because the truth is, if someone's super stressed, it doesn't matter what you tell them, and they manage their stress by eating. It doesn't matter what you tell them in regards to what their meal plan is. If they're still stressed and eating when they're stressed, then we're not addressing the root cause. It might not be nutrition that we're working on, or if they're not sleeping at all, we know that's going to impact their cortisol levels, their leptin levels, their ghrelin levels. We need to get them sleeping so that their hormones are more regulated, so they're not craving the foods that are probably not in line with their health and wellness goals. And you guys do that as part of that unpacking in the first part of the initial consultation.
Yeah, and I think what's even like more eye-opening is we get that information, and even if that's not one of the first few things we are working on, that now plants the seed in our head that we might come to a point to where we're going to shift from working on nutrition to maybe sleep, stress management. Maybe it's a busy season in their life. Maybe we have to come up with a busy plan and then a normal routine plan. So that information gives us so much insight that it can create a plan for about a year without addressing those things right away.
Yeah. And then you can always revisit it. Maybe stress was good now, but in 6 months from now, they're in a stressful season of their life. And now that becomes a top priority. So we've done the unpacking. We understand, okay, here are some ideas. And this is another huge mistake I made when I started HSN is I'd be like, all right, Lorraine, here's the thing that you need to work on. I'm like, I'm telling you what to do, but who knows if you're like, can I do that? Am I excited about that? Do I want to do that? Versus like, all right, with everything that's coming up for you, what would you be interested in working on? And there's two paths here. One path is the client's like, oh, I want to work on this. And you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's a good low hanging fruit. And the other one's like, I have no clue. I'm here because I'm paying you to tell me is, probably what I'd be thinking. And
Mhm.
then to still keep it client centered, you'd be like, all right, well, here's a couple options. What stands out to you? Put it
Mm.
back on them. And I think that's a big mistake that a lot of coaches make. They're like, no, the client's paying me. I need to tell them. No, it's like telling your child, like, if they come up with the idea, they're more likely to do it.
That intrinsic motivation, right? Being
Mm-hmm.
able to empower people by having the right strategies and the right kind of support and tools so that you can ask the right questions so that you're kind of eliciting that response from the client. That has been the biggest thing for me within the past maybe 5 years, is understanding that approach, a lot of motivational interviewing.
Absolutely. And then from there, we teach habit mapping where you're really mapping it out and, figuring out with the client every step of the way what they need to do to be successful. And then comes the point of where people feel overwhelmed with 5 clients or can handle 30, 40 clients, no problem. It's the streamlined communication that happens between in-person visits. And this is where the Healthy Steps Nutrition app comes in, because people can track off their habits, they can upload photos. And as a coach, you have everything in one place
Yep.
to keep your clients accountable. So you get access to the app, and you're probably setting some expectations too. What are the expectations that you set with clients when you meet with them in the initial consultation?
Yeah, so we set the expectations. Let's talk about how often we're going to see them, right? Depending on the plan that they choose, we can see them every 4 weeks in person. But just because we see them once every 4 weeks in person doesn't mean that we're not chiming in throughout the weeks that we're not seeing them. So they can expect some bright spot videos every Friday. That takes anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes per client, not a lot of time. You can also, depending on the coach and how much room they have, check in throughout the week, Monday or Tuesday, kind of check in on the calendar, see what's going on. So by the time Friday rolls around and you're making that video, you have a clear insight into what that video is going to address and what topics are going to come up in that video or in that session when you do see the client. In
Yeah.
addition to that, like some stuff around the HSN app, right, is messaging response within 24 hours, checking it morning and night, but the response could be up to 24 hours. Those are some things we really like to kind of talk about in that first setting, so everyone is clear on what that communication will look like.
That's so important to set expectations around communication, because you don't want, there's no nutrition emergency. And if you are a nutrition coach and you're like on demand all the time, then where's your work-life balance and how are you going to be able to manage more people? Like, it might be doable for a couple of people, but if you have 30 or 40 clients and you're an on-demand nutrition coach, it is impossible for you to have anything else going on versus, hey, I check the app from this time every single day, and you can expect a response with me from, between in 24 hours. Okay, great. That's perfect. So, clients are tracking their habits. We've got Friday is typically like the most popular check-in day. So you meet with people, and the way your schedule works, and every dietitian on our team, you guys have set hours that you see people. So it might be Monday afternoon and Tuesday morning or whatever the case may be, and you book people back to back. But then
Yep.
Fridays are the check-in day. Tell me a little bit about what those check-in days look like.
Yeah, so check-in days roughly around midday for me. Everyone is different. And I go through each one of my clients, and I just kind of go through their profile. I look at what their habit compliance has been. Some of my clients are taking food photos or logging food just so I can kind of see the quality of it. I just kind of look around in their profile and look for those key things. And then I make a video kind of addressing that and their compliance with the habits.
Perfect. And food photos are typically the recommended way. Number one, a very small percentage of people actually log all of their food in the Healthy Steps Nutrition app. I would say less than 1%. And the
Yeah.
reason is, number one, people aren't measuring out their food. So they're going to put one portion size and they're probably eating 3 and it's not accurate. Versus a photo, photos don't lie. And it's easy for you to see, like, is this balanced? Is this not? Does this have protein? Does this not? Is there vegetables here? And then you can ask some follow-up questions like, how'd you prepare this? What else did you add? Like, what dressings? But the food photos are the preferred way to give feedback on meals. So check-in days, yeah, you just do them all back to back, super easy. Let's talk about, so that I would say that's like, it's client facing, but it's not an in-person meeting, and it's consistency with those check-ins. And I will say that that is the one of the reasons, all the extra accountability and personalization. It's not the same message that goes to everyone. And you guys do video messages, which is even more personalized. So people can know, like, man, you're celebrating me. You actually checked in. You took the time to check all of my stuff, which is really important. What are some of the other non-client facing things that you do as your role as a nutrition coach?
Yeah, so we plan out days to make some videos or reels that'll get posted on social media. Earlier, we talked about how important that is to get your face out there so people know how you can help them. We'll block out a time for that. Also, nutrition talks on the back end is something that I've been doing with HSN for the past few months. I love that opportunity. And here's the biggest reason why: it makes me stay up to date with all the new research and really kind of looking at the back end of everything and understanding really kind of what our clients are needing and what they want more information about. So it really kind of keeps me on my toes. We spend some time there. And then when we're shooting for the app, all those other things that we do.
Yeah, so those are some special roles that you might have working at HSN HQ. But brings up a good point about nutrition talks. We love virtual nutrition seminars. It's a really good strategy to capture leads off of your social media, re-engage people on your email list, allow people to get some free help from you, and then call to action. What is the next step to take with you? So a lot of gyms will do these once a month or at least every other month to get the nutrition coach out there. If there's multiple nutrition coaches, you guys could share the nutrition talk. You could you do one and the other coach does one the next month. We like doing them virtually just because it's a little bit low. Our goal with the nutrition talks at HSN is to get non-members to do nutrition coaching. And I want there to be the least barrier of entry for people to get into our ecosystem, and having them plan out an extra 30 minutes or whatever it takes to get to our gym at a specific day. And if they've never been to a CrossFit gym before, they are a little scared. Like, that's more and more barriers versus logging on Zoom wherever you are from your kid's soccer game or whatever practice, or whatever you're doing. Or just register and we'll send you like a shortened version of the recording so that we can call you to action to take the next step with us. One of the reasons why I love these nutrition talks is that it slowly builds the relationship with people, and you're weeding out the people who are not a good fit, and you're moving the people who are a good fit closer to working with you.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, because ideally when we're talking or when we are coming up with topics for the nutrition talk, yes, there are some stuff about nutrition, gut health, etc., plant-based stuff, but there's also just talking about the basic things that we do with people, the pillars of health, the holistic approach. Hey, ways that you can maximize your energy in a workout before and after. They're all really basic topics that anybody, no matter what type of regimen they are doing, can really gain some insight. And the low barrier. I mean, I think it's a great idea.
And just so people understand, like, we as HSN Mentoring give nutrition coaches these nutrition talks. So that's one of the things that you were talking about earlier, like, hey, you create them. Yeah. So you look up all the research around it. You create the Canva template, the speaking notes, do a recording of it so that coaches could have this all packaged and save time and not reinvent the wheel, so that you can gain more awareness and authority to make a greater impact in your community. One of the other things a couple other things you specifically do and our dietitian team does around coach development is the Monday calls. So talk to me a little bit about those Monday calls and how they've evolved and what you guys do with those Monday calls.
Yeah, so these have been fun to start doing. Um, these are the coaches' corners, right? And really, we've been able to kind of immerse more with the team and the audience and the mentoring side of things, get more hands-on with people in regards to different like questions that people have asked us, for an example, the food options guide. We've talked about a few other things addressing questions that we have had. And yeah, I really love this opportunity because it allows us to kind of be front and center with them, which doesn't happen too often. So they get to actually see us and pick our brains.
Yeah, you guys do that twice a month, and then we have other mentors on the team that come in. And then you and Melinda lead up the coach evaluations. So, one of the things, my goal, big picture with nutrition coaches, is that we're empowering confident coaches. And I can be confident that I send someone to CrossFit XYZ in Australia and CrossFit in California, and it's a similar experience. And we give all the templates and we give all the resources, but ultimately we have to test the knowledge. We have to test the flow and ensure that we're all providing a consistent experience. Because if my goal is to send people to gyms and nutrition coaches around the world that are looking for a coach near them, I need to be 1,000% confident that if I send someone to you, they're going to get an incredible experience. And the coach evaluation is a way for us to test the knowledge of the coaches. And some people are nervous, but I feel like every piece of feedback that I've ever gotten from someone that does an evaluation with you is like, Lorraine made me feel so comfortable, even though I was nervous. And the truth is preparing for something like that makes you a better coach. Just preparing for something like that. And you get like fine tuned, like, oh man, I don't know that I've been doing this all like every single time. So the coach evaluation, talk to me a little bit about that process.
Oh, this is another fun one. I've really enjoyed this role. I've just loved to develop coaches. And I love, first of all, that you have this, right, to streamline the process and make sure there's a consistent message across the board. But this is really just a way to kind of, like you said, polish up some skills, right? If we've never been evaluated, but we've been seeing clients for a long time, we don't know what we're doing great, and we don't know if there are any areas of improvement. And this allows that opportunity to happen. So whether it's an annual evaluation or for someone just rolling out of training, this really gives them a live experience. And yes, it's nerve wracking. It feels like a test. But what we try and do, at least me and Melinda, is we try to make it as smooth as possible, really immerse ourselves as the client and make it as real, because ultimately they're going to go out there and experience some of these things with clients, and we want them to be as ready as they can.
Absolutely. Like screw up with us, get uncomfortable with us so that you feel confident when you start working with your paying clients. So every single nutrition coach partnered with HSN has to pass the evaluation in order to
Mhm.
for us to send people to you and for you to have that badge that you're a Healthy Steps nutrition coach. The actual evaluation tests the initial consultation. So what happens before, during, and after, how you're setting up the app, even the video messages that you're sending. And we don't care if it doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to hit the standard and make sure that we're meeting the standard at the end of the day. And I'm so excited. And you have such a gift for coach development. So I'm so excited that it took a little bit for you to be a part of that process, but I was like, Lorraine, I'm telling you, you will be amazing at this. Like, I want you to do this role. And I'm just so thankful that you leaned into that because you're so good at it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was definitely a little nerve wracking at first, but I really loved and enjoyed it. And every day I want to get better at it. So I take any feedback that I get and really try to make it the best experience.
It's incredible because I would say every single person on our team has that same mentality of like, I want to get better. And we
Yeah.
have such a big mission that we want to fill here. And I know that if we're showing up as our best selves to be able to serve all the gym owners and coaches and the clients that we work with, we're all going to be able to make a greater impact together. So thank you for all that you do. One last thing. The Gym
Mhm.
Accelerator Summit is coming up. And one of the cool things that we do at the Gym Accelerator Summit is breakout sessions. And not everyone in the audience is a nutrition coach or gym owner that's super passionate about learning about nutrition. But there are quite a few people that are nutrition coaches or gym owners that play the nutrition coach role, or even people that are like, man, I think I want to be a nutrition coach that come and you guys do these breakout sessions and you're doing three of them. One of them, Amanda's going to lead on hormone health and menopause because she's a best at that. But you guys are leading one on social and physical environment, which is something that I'm super excited about because there's a lot of research coming out around the impact of connection and community with optimal health and even preventing chronic disease or increasing your risk of chronic disease. What are some of the other things that coaches can expect to learn from you guys from the nutrition coach track breakout sessions?
Yeah, I think the big message here in these breakouts is just learning and being able to kind of have more tools in your toolbox and strategies so that if you are in a situation to where you feel like stuck or your client is stuck, we can give you strategies that you can revert to right away and that you can kind of break that unstuckness. So there's going to be lots of cool things going on and lots of different ways we interact with people, but most importantly, I think it's just walking away with even one new thing that you've learned at those breakout sessions can really magnify your impact as a nutrition coach.
One of the cool things because we've tossed around a lot of different ideas of like there's a million different things you guys could teach about, but what are the things that we feel like are common themes that are coming up and things that coaches really need more tools around to successfully implement in their own communities? And one of those things is working with spouses, which I'm so excited about because families and spouses are really fun to work with, but can also be so difficult if you don't have the systems and the like framework to do it. So I think that's one of the ones I'm personally really excited for you guys to talk a lot about is how to create a program and a package with best practices when working with spouses and significant others.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to dive into.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add as a nutrition coach or someone that's maybe listening to this podcast? It's like, I have a passion for nutrition. I believe in a whole foods approach, but I have no clue if this would be good for me or I would be a good nutrition coach. What do you have to say for those people?
Yeah, give it a shot, right? You'll never know until you try. I would say the biggest thing about a job like this, I always say I have fun because I really love what I do. Does it challenge you at times? Absolutely. And I think anything that you're passionate about it should challenge you. But there's flexibility in this. But more importantly, I think what you feel on the inside is a bigger reward than anything that you can gain monetary wise. So yeah, go for it, try it. I promise
Yeah.
you'll love it.
No, I think the cool thing with nutrition coaching is you don't have it doesn't need to be a full-time job to start with. You can start small. With coaches that are going through HSN, you go through an online training course, you get practice first, then you start with, you know, 2 3-hour blocks, 2 4-hour blocks per week, and then you build from there. Most nutrition coaches handle between 30 and 40 nutrition clients. Some handle more doing this part-time. So the way
Mhm.
our program is set up, standard accountability, it's about 2 hours the first month and a little bit over an hour every month after that between in-person visits and virtual support. So those in-person sessions that you're meeting with clients and then virtual support with those check-ins in the Healthy Steps Nutrition app. So hopefully this gave people an idea of what does it look like to be a nutrition coach? How do you help people? Thank you so much for coming on and sharing all that you do. And most importantly, thank you for all that you do to support people that are trusting us to help them with their nutrition journey and coaches that are looking to partner with us to be able to have the tools and resources to help their community.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. And thank you for trusting me and bringing me onto the team.
I hope you enjoyed that podcast with Lorraine. She's a wealth of knowledge, and I'm so grateful to have her on our team. I hope this podcast gives you an insight on what it looks like to be a healthy subs nutrition coach. What I used to think nutrition coaching was giving someone a plan and assuming they would be able to do it really isn't how it works to help people make meaningful change. You really need to prioritize accountability and support. And that looks like weekly check-ins through the Healthy Steps Nutrition app, regular follow-up visits, and doing more of a membership model for nutrition coaching makes the most sense. Now, Healthy Steps Nutrition partners with gym owners and coaches to build, launch, and grow professional nutrition coaching programs. Some of the things Lorraine talked about, like creating video content, is something we provide nutrition coaches. So we give you nutrition scripts so you don't have to think of the content yourself. You just create the video so that you're seen as the expert. We want there to be a face behind the nutrition coaching program, and there's still a role for the gym owner too. So sometimes gym owners will take 1 to 2 of those video scripts and make those health-related videos, which is amazing. Now, I think you're listening to this podcast because you want to empower health. You want to help people make meaningful change, and you understand that it's not just about going to the gym a few hours a week. And while nutrition is about eating whole foods and balance, people need a plan that's customized to them. And most importantly, they need a coach to keep them accountable. Now, Healthy Steps Nutrition does have a standalone nutrition coaching course. So if you're interested in becoming a Healthy Steps Nutrition coach, you can take that course. But what we recommend that you do is you find a gym and partner with them to work with them so that you can help their members in their community with empowering health and helping people make health a way of life one step at a time so that they can prevent and reverse chronic disease. Hope you found this podcast helpful. If you did, please leave us a review and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss another episode. We'll see you back here soon.